Okay, let's work on problem 1212 together. This is the calculation of the internal rate of return, and we're going to be using our calculators. I've already put up on the screen here some of the information we're going to be having to use, and I'll explain that as we go through. But the first thing I want you to do is get your calculator and turn it on, and go ahead and push the clear button. And then push the second button. Let's do this first, second, and then the future value button. That clears all our time value of money calculations. Then I'd like you to find the CF button. CF button. That's right next to the second button. Okay, and I want you to push the CF button, and you'll see CFO. That's cash flow year 0. That we'll talk about in just a minute. But if there's any number next to that, even if there isn't, I'd like you to go ahead and do this right now. Push the second button and then the clear CEC button. That clears all of the information that might be programmed in your cash flow formulas and cash flow calculations. So second and CCE or CEC. That clears out all of those numbers. Now, so at this point you should see on your calculator this information right here, CFO equals, and then it'll say something like 0.00. Okay? Now if you push, there's arrow keys, there's arrow up keys and arrow down key, and you'll see that next to the enter key across from the compute key at the very top of the key sequence on your calculator. If you push arrow down, you'll see the next item is CO1, and if you push arrow down again, that's FO1. CFO is the initial investment that you make in a project. CO1 is the first year cash inflow to you, and FO1 is the frequency of these cash flows. So you might have 3 or 4 cash flows of the exact amount. You can put the number here in this category, and that tells the computer that there are 3 of whatever you put in here for CO1. We'll walk through how to use this in just a minute, but go ahead and push your arrow up key if you did push it until you see CFO. Okay, CFO. And then we'll take a look at the problem and see what we need to do. It says the internal rate of return. King's Department Store is complicating the purchase of a new machine at a cost of $22,802. The machine will provide $3,500 per year in cash flow for 9 years. King's has a cost of capital of 10%. Using the internal rate of return method, evaluate this project and indicate whether it should be undertaken. So our initial cash flow, or the cost of this project, is $22,802. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and enter that as our initial cash flow, but it has to be entered as a negative. So the first thing you want to do is type 22,802, 22,802, okay? And then push the plus minus button. The plus minus button. That converts that number to a negative. All right, and enter. Push the enter button. And that programs that number in this category, CFO1. Or CFO, sorry, CFO. So 22,802. Now I arrow down, push my arrow down key, and I should see CO1 equals 0.00. So let's read the problem again. It says the machine will provide $3,500 per year in cash flow. So that's my CO1. It's $3,500. All right, so $3,500. I'm going to type 3,500 and then enter. I'm going to push the enter button. That programs that for $3,500 into CO1. Okay, so that's my initial cash flow, year 1. And now what's the frequency? According to this, The machine will provide $3,500 per year in cash flow for 9 years. All right, so for 9 years. So I'm going to arrow down till I see F01, and then I want to type 9 and enter. That puts the number 9, into this category. The frequency of that year 1 cash flow is 9. All right, so now, let's see, let's make sure there are no other cash flows. No. King's has a cost of capital of 10%, so it's cost of capital is 10%. All right, and we have to evaluate this project and indicate whether it should be undertaken using the internal rate of return. So the next step here in the process is to find the IRR key. Okay, that's on the second line down at the top. You'll see IRR. Go ahead and push that button, and you'll see your screen now says IRR equals 0.00. But it won't. You must, at this point, once you push the IRR key, compute. If you push the compute button, IRR is going to equal 7%. Okay? You'll see that. You computed IRR, and it's 7%. Now we're supposed to evaluate this project and indicate whether it should be undertaken. According to the problem, King's Department Store has a cost of capital of 7%. The internal rate of return of this project is 7%. What do you think we should do? Well, if you said that because the cost of capital is higher than what the project will generate in the form of a return, we should not undertake this project. You would be right.